Good morning, Church at Liberty Park. Today we're in Luke chapter 8 and just want to look at the parable of the sower with you today. And so I'm sure many of you are familiar with this story. And so one thing that we learned today is just that the Word of God is necessary, that it is essential for our lives. But not just that, but also how we hear, how we receive the Word of God in our lives. And the first part of this parable, it gives three dangers of ways that Jesus would not have us to hear and to receive the word. And so I just want to highlight one of those for us. In verse 14, it says, "And as for what fell among the thorns, they are those who hear, but as they go on their way, they are choked by," notice these three things, "by the cares, the riches, and the pleasures of life, and their fruit does not mature." And so I would just encourage us today to think about the ways that the word of God might be choked out in our lives, how our hearts are being drawn more to the world than to the things of God. And so one thing that talks about is the cares of this world. So maybe even just simply the busyness of life and how that distracts us from the Word of God. Also, it talks about riches, and we know that we are a wealthy society, and so how can we leverage the wealth that God has given us for his kingdom purposes and not our own. And notice verse 15, it gives this picture of bearing much fruit. And may that be true in our lives, that the word of God bears fruit in our lives. We remember today that the word of God is not just for information, but for transformation, that our hearts may be changed and that it may produce good fruit in our lives. And so I hope you enjoyed chapter 8 today.